We can get more on this. We can cross to Lisbon and speak to Chris Graham, a journalist at the Portugal Resident. It's an English language magazine. Chris, good to see you this morning. Lisbon, very much a city still reeling in shock.
I think you're absolutely right there. I mean, normally Lisbon is a very vibrant, busy city at this time of the year, packed with tourists, and the centre of Lisbon is really quiet. Obviously, people are going around their normal daily business, but there's a palpable pall of sadness, I would say, and quietness enveloping the city, and it's quite noticeable. It's different from anything that I've seen before. And obviously today we've had the tragic news that 3 British people are among the 16 victims of this terrible disaster, which is actually the worst disaster in terms of numbers of fatalities seen in this city since probably in the last 50 years. That's almost certain.
And these funiculars, Chris, they were not, you know, some slightly obscure part of infrastructure. They were part of the fabric of Lisbon, weren't they? Commuters used them, tourists used them.
These funiculars are national monuments. They were designed by a French engineer who was a pupil of Gustave Eiffel in the late 19th century. And since then, they have been in continual operational use at a time when many European cities, for example, London, no longer has these kind of trams. Lisbon has continued to use them, partly because Lisbon was never involved in the Second World War, so it wasn't damaged. So these pieces have become just historic legacies of a bygone golden age of transport. And they are really valued by the city. And generally, they've been safe. There's never been any incidents involving these transport infrastructures. They have always been very, very well maintained. Now, there is a story that there is a problem with getting a new maintenance supplier. There was a tender put forward to Caris by several different companies, and unfortunately, the companies wanted more money than Caris had a budget for. So this caused a problem as late as last month as to who was going to continue to do the maintenance, because all of the companies involved put forward their budgets, and Caris said they couldn't afford it. But
there are many questions that remain, and the Prime Minister has promised a quick investigation. Do we know roughly how long it'll take before that report is available?
Well, I think the Portuguese authorities are pretty efficient, and I think certainly there'll be a preliminary report within the next week or two. And I think certainly by the end of September, the beginning of October, we'll have a more concrete report when the engineers have had a chance to come in and look at what the causes are. And of course, they're looking at various causes, including the problem with the cable that came loose. But they're also looking at subterranean problems as well, that could have even been caused by rodent infestation. So it's complicated. We don't know a single cause yet. But there were concerns raised as far back as 2018 that the system was very old-fashioned and probably needed to be replaced by a more safer system of transport, such as a set of escalators going up either side of this very, very steep hill to link the upper neighbourhood, which is the Bairro Alto, with the downtown neighbourhood, and Restauradores, which is the square where you can see the damage.
Chris Graham, thank you very much for giving us that update on the ground there in Lisbon.